What's up everybody, Super Dorks fan here for Mini Weekly Update number 23 on this Friday. So, what's new with the Mini? Well, nothing, that's why I'm not in the Mini. I figured I'd just spare you guys the driving footage in an attempt to make this video a little bit shorter. I do want to give an update on the campaign. Obviously, we have less than 2 weeks left on the campaign now, and it gained about $100 in the past week or so, it's definitely slowed down a lot. But like I said, we still have a little bit under 2 weeks to go, and I'm holding out hope. Yeah, and so with that, I'll just go right over to the news. So first thing this week is an interesting thing that Chevy's been doing. So they're, obviously testing the new Camaro for 2016 here, and, we've seen, a few camouflage shots of how it's going to look and stuff. Can't really make out too many details, but something that was really perplexing was the new Camaro, they now have this new camouflage on it, and it's really thick over the roof, and it's kind of weird. People are thinking it might be the convertible version, but the fact that the A-pillar extends so far up is making a lot of people think this could be like a T-top. They could be bringing back the T-tops, which I think would be pretty awesome and be pretty epic of them. They'd be the first people really to have a T-top again, so that would be really awesome. The other interesting thing about this whole testing thing with the Camaro is that they're also bringing along some 1980s Camaros during this testing. They're pristine, like perfect, like fresh out of the wrapper 1980s Camaros with manufacturer plates on them, and they're testing them right beside the 2016. I'm not sure why. I know, with the Mustang, they were, benchmarking it against the 2013 Boss 302, which is a good benchmark. But if you're benching your Camaro against the 80s Camaros, which I don't think they are, but it's kind of funny that that's what it seems they're doing. Like, let's make it as good as the one from the 80s. But I don't know why they have 80s Camaros there. It's really a mystery. But, yeah, so maybe it's just to throw people off. It's just for giggles. I don't know, but very interesting to see that. Next is that Scion released 2 teaser images of this new car that they're going to be debuting at the LA Auto Show. And it's going to be called the IM with a capital M. And it looks very aggressive. It has these LEDs and in the lower part of the bumper, and you can just make out the headlight and the wheel. Based on what some people were saying after looking at these images, they're thinking this could be a pretty small car. So I don't know what they're going for. I mean, the TC needs a proper redo. It's been refreshed, and the front bumper changes every year, it seems, but they haven't actually changed the whole car in a while. So maybe they're going to phase out the TC and bring in the IM. I'm not sure, what's going on with this car, but very interesting to see Scion's up to something new. Another crazy theory that this could be, this is just my crazy theory, so take it for what it's worth, but this could possibly be a refreshed Scion FRS. We're due for a redo, a mild refresh of the FRS and the BRZ here in 2016. So it could possibly be that this is Scion's first concept-y version, like the first, Scion FRS concept that we got from Scion that was very extreme looking, and then they kind of toned it down for production. This could be the new version of the FRS. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's just a wild guess. It'd be interesting to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think it is? Next is a report here saying that BMW is considering a higher performance version of the i8, and this supposed i8S, as they're dubbing it right now, they're thinking about 2 different engines. There's a 320 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder that they're considering, and the other one is just, they're thinking about putting a straight 6 in this thing that already has like 430 horsepower, and then adding the electric motors onto it. Either way, you're looking at a car that's probably going to have over 500 horsepower, which could make the i8 go as fast as it actually looks. I mean, it's not a slouch, but to have a seriously awesome engine in there, I mean, that would just make the already awesome looking i8 even more awesome. So very exciting to see what they end up doing with that. In some other minor BMW news, they debuted a new version of the M4 called the M4 DTM Champion Edition, and it's just painted differently. The grills are painted orange, and it has this multicolored look to it. It's cool looking, but there's no mechanical changes or anything else notable. You could basically go and copy this at your local paint shop if you so desired, but very cool to see that. Next is a report saying that Rolls-Royce and Lamborghini are still up in the air about their SUVs. They're both considering making an SUV. Obviously, Lamborghini has the awesome Urus concept that we saw, and Rolls-Royce has been, playing around with some ideas for, concept cars to, make into SUVs. But neither of them are really sold on the idea. I think Lamborghini would be pretty easy and cheap to do if they just used the Cayenne. and use that as a base, and then just put the awesome V10 in it and all that kind of stuff. I think that would sell, just because I think that would fit Lamborghini's brand. Rolls-Royce, I think they could do it too, especially if Bentley is going to be doing it here with their SUV. Why not? I think SUVs are just all the rage right now, as far as non-enthusiasts are concerned, and so I think that would really help Rolls-Royce out as well. But it'll be interesting to see what they finally end up deciding. The next story here is that, every week it seems there's a new story about the Ford Focus RS. Everyone's all excited about it, and it is going to be a sick car, I think. There's some more rumor mills here that are going around, and what they're saying is that the RS will be imported from Europe. So instead of it being a totally separate car, we're just going to get the awesome European version, which sounds good to me. And they're also thinking, obviously, I think last week they said how it'll probably have all-wheel drive, because what they're going to plan on doing is using the Mustang EcoBoost 2.3-liter turbo and bumping up the boost on it, so it'll have somewhere between 325 horsepower and 350 horsepower, which would make it very quick, and if it was front-wheel drive, the torque steer would be terrible. So doing all-wheel drive probably makes sense, and they're saying, very interestingly, that this car would just be a little bit more expensive than the top-of-the-line Ford Focus ST, which would make this car maybe right under $30,000, which would be spectacular. It would undercut the WRX STI, and it's going to be putting out more power than the WRX STI. I think that would definitely, Ford's taking it to Subaru with that, and it would definitely force Subaru to finally give the STI more power like it deserves, 330 to 350 at least. And, seriously, I mean, because if you're going to pay $35 for an STI, when you can get a Focus RS, which has probably better performance for $5,000 less, it's going to be a tough sell for the STI, I think. And Ford's been really doing some spectacular cars recently, so it'll be interesting to see once this RS finally comes out. It's going to be awesome. Another awesome piece of news here is that Aston Martin has been testing a new car. Now, this is just a V12 Vantage that has the grille removed. It has wider fender arches and wheel wells, and it's just, obviously a developmental mule for a chassis. There might be a Mercedes AMG under the hood of that, because the hood vents that are normally on the V12 have been blocked off, kind of, it seems, and so could be that's hiding the new engine. I'm not sure, but very interesting to see that. Obviously, the sheet metal is going to totally change for the production model, but it's very cool to see that they're at least working on a new car. Honda is going to be bringing a couple of cars to the LA Auto Show. The first is they're going to be doing the American version of the HR-V, which is going to be, the baby CR-V, mini SUV. And the other car they're going to be bringing an updated Acura ILX, because, the ILX has been getting a lot of hate because it was underpowered and it was kind of bland styling. I reviewed an ILX, and it's one of the least watched review videos I've ever done. People just do not like the ILX. So they're going to be doing this new version. They said it's going to have more aggressive styling and nicer interior, and it's going to have a more potent powertrain, which means probably more power, maybe even all-wheel drive. So very cool to see that they're going to be doing that, and let's hope it saves the ILX, because I thought it was a great idea. It's just not the best execution. So hopefully this will help save the ILX. And another report here is saying that the Porsche 911 Turbo is going to go all turbo for 2015, which is something we've been hearing a lot. I spotted those mules out in LA even a few months ago, and I mean, they're obviously working on the second Mark II generation of the 991 911s, and they're saying that they could have huge increases in power. So they're saying there could be a 400 horsepower normal base Carrera, and then the Carrera S could have almost up to 530 horsepower, which is what the turbo does. So they're saying the turbo could be 600 horsepower and just take it from there. I mean, it's just massive power figures, they're saying, which is cool. I think that, personally, I wish that there would still be a naturally aspirated 911. Maybe there will be. We'll see. But obviously, for fuel economy, everyone's going with turbos. We'll see what Porsche ends up doing for the production models, though. And there's some bad news from Chrysler this week, and that is that the refreshed Chrysler 300 SRT won't be sold in the United States for 2015. So it's done. They're not making any more SRT 300s unless they do a completely new car, and then maybe a year or two later do an SRT version of that. But for now, they're not making any more. So 2015, they're not doing them. So buy 2014 while you can. If you want a brand new SRT Chrysler, now may be your last chance. So sad to hear that. The Jeep SRT is going to continue on for now, at least. Hopefully they'll have more models in the future, but looks like that's the end of the line for the 300 SRT, which is pretty sad because it's such an awesome car. And some good Dodge Chrysler news. They announced pricing for the new 2015 Dodge Charger, and that includes the Hellcat. And the Hellcat's going to be $63,995, so it's about $4,000 more than the Challenger version, but I mean, you get 4 doors and a higher top speed, and it's still such a bargain. $64,000 for 707 horsepower. I still am just wowed by the Hellcat's value proposition. And the last bit of news here is that we finally spotted the 2016 Nissan Maxima out with camouflage on. Obviously, you can still see very little, but you can kind of tell the shape of the car. It borrows heavily from the concept that was debuted at Detroit this past winter, and I think it's going to be really good in production, but it's kind of tricky to see from these spy shots too much about the car, but it's good to see that it'll be coming soon. So yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So like I said, no car footage this week, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.